I was reborn alongside Mia, though she has no clue. She still sees me as the same pushover I was in my previous life. I gave her top-notch financial support, got her into elite universities, and even backed her startup dreams, leading to my family's ruin. In the end, she drained me completely and kicked me to the curb. To make matters worse, she showed up with my biggest rival on her arm, smirking, finally free from the shame of my backing. This time around, I swear I won't give her a single penny of support. When it came time to pick a one-on-one sponsorship candidate, she confidently stood before me, head held high, but I deliberately ignored her and chose the unfortunate girl next to her. At the annual charity donation gala, I attended representing Corp, showcasing our commitment. Every year, we select one recipient from many, assigning someone from our company to support them directly. In my previous life, I chose Mia from the candidates, but it turned out she was just an ungrateful freeloader. This time, I tipped off Alex. He's my nemesis and Mia's unforgettable first love. She had once told me, in my past life, that before I began sponsoring her, Alex had a crush on her. It was my money that blocked their romance. This time, I'll find out if Alex ever had feelings for her before she became my girlfriend. By the time Alex and I arrived at the sponsorship hall, everyone was already there. About 100 people filled the room, tightly packed. I spotted Mia immediately. I have to admit, my eye for beauty hasn't dulled. Almost 5'7", slender waist, long legs, and a cascade of black hair over her shoulders. Among the ordinary humble students, she was like a snow lotus blooming on a mountain peak. Noticing my stare, Mia straightened her posture, lifting her chin even higher. I knew she too was reborn. Once the most successful female entrepreneur, back to being a struggling student. Who knows if she's adjusted to it again? I wondered how she'd react to the impending embarrassment from the person she despises most. I entered, eager to observe. The school staff greeted me warmly, constantly thanking Corp for giving underprivileged students the chance to study peacefully. Even the onlookers knew how to be grateful, yet simply because I liked her, Mia saw all my efforts as disgraceful. This time, I decided to withdraw my support. Hopefully, she'd be satisfied. I made some modest comments, saying it was all part of our corporate social responsibility. Then we moved to the next segment. The school staff conducted a selection round based on various criteria, like grades and awards, recommending 10 candidates. I needed to pick one as the one-on-one sponsorship recipient. I sat at the conference table and the staff had the candidates line up, introducing themselves one by one. They were all impressive, their limitations due solely to lack of resources. The goal of our sponsorship was to give them a way to overcome the first major obstacle. The candidates looked at me with a mix of gratitude and eagerness. Everyone knew that a one-on-one sponsorship guaranteed more resources and a broader future. Soon, it was Mia's turn. She was indeed outstanding, consistently ranking in the top 10 and earning various provincial and national awards. The staff were optimistic about her, inviting her to say a few words to make a stronger impression. But Mia wasn't interested. She merely gave a curt hello. The staff frowned in displeasure. Mia couldn't have cared less. She looked at me with pride and disdain. In my past life, after hearing Mia's introduction, I ignored all the remaining candidates and chose her directly. She must think it'll be the same this time. Unfortunately for her, I turned to the staff and said, "No pressure, let's meet the next candidate." Mia was stunned, standing frozen for a moment before leaving reluctantly. The staff quickly urged her, "Miss Sun, please don't waste time." She shot me a cold look before turning away. See, if it weren't for me choosing her, she wouldn't even qualify to stand in front of me. I didn't spare her a glance and continued listening to the next candidate's profile. Once I'd heard them all, I chose Ava. She hadn't won any awards, but her grades were consistently the highest, and she was the only one with visible bruises on her face. Apparently, her alcoholic father had hit her. She seemed to have no expectations. Only when I announced my choice did she look at me, her timid eyes fixed on mine, and quietly say, "Thank you." Mia sneered, "Just a bookworm." Ava pressed her lips tightly, saying nothing, but I wasn't about to indulge her any longer. "Are you verbally bullying your classmate?" I asked coldly. Mia looked at me, surprised, then gave me a smug look that seemed to say, "So, you're trying to get my attention." I felt a surge of disgust. She maintained her calm and superior attitude. "I'm just telling the truth, so you don't think your behavior was wrong?" Ignoring her, I turned to the school staff. "This is the candidate you selected. I have doubts about this candidate's character for sponsorship. I want to support students who'll pay it forward and spread goodwill in the future. This student treats her peers with arrogance and scorn. I highly doubt she'll extend a helping hand when she's in a position of power. I deliberately criticized her, raising the stakes. This time, I won't waste my goodwill on an ungrateful freeloader. Sure enough, my words made the staff take it seriously. The person in charge quickly demanded that Mia apologize to Ava or risk losing her eligibility for sponsorship. Mia glared at me with fury. I didn't even look her way. Didn't she say the money I spent on her was humiliating? Well, let's see if her inflated pride will have her groveling for this humiliation. I won't apologize, Mia declared defiantly. Don't think you can make me bow with money. I, Mia, will prove one day that a woman can succeed on her own. Mia's righteous declaration left everyone speechless. So refusing her sponsorship amounted to bullying her? The audacity. In the silence, someone began clapping. It was Alex. He clapped as he walked over to me with such strong conviction. Ethan, you can't bully someone like her, he said snidely, trying to make it seem like I was targeting a poor student. Mia's eyes lit up at the sight of him. She probably had some romantic scene playing out in her head, imagining a rich young man standing up for her against overwhelming odds. Too bad I knew that smug, gleeful smile Alex wore. He just wanted to use Mia to annoy me, but I wasn't going to be as foolish as before, letting him manipulate the situation. But she was the one who refused to apologize. I looked at Mia with contempt. She defiantly lifted her chin. I didn't do anything wrong. I feigned a sigh of helplessness. KuCorp would never sponsor someone who can't show kindness to her peers. But I shifted my tone. Since you think so highly of her, why don't your Chan Corp sponsor her instead? As soon as I said it, Mia's eyes sparkled, eagerly looking at Alex. But Alex hesitated, looking troubled. Finally, he muttered, I'll discuss it with my family. Ha! He's merely an overlooked illegitimate child in the Chan family. There's no way he'll get approval. But seeing Mia's smug face, certain that if she lost my sponsorship, Alex would pick her up, I simply sat back and enjoyed the show. I'm curious to see how far Mia will go this time without KuCorp's support. Ava and I were both accepted into the top university, Beijing University. Mia went to the Teachers College next door. Her grades were high enough for Beijing University, but Teachers College offered subsidies, affordable room and board, and a guaranteed monthly stipend. Ava and I ran into Mia on campus. She gave Ava a once-over, sneering, just another girl being kept. This happened in my past life too back then. I liked her and found any excuse to be near her. Rumors started circulating that she had latched onto the Ku family heir and would be set for life. Once I accompanied her to the cafeteria, and someone said right to her face, just another girl being kept. Mia's face darkened immediately. The person strutted off. And Mia, furious, flipped my lunch tray, yelling for me to stay away from her. Oily food spilled all over me, and everyone around stared. I still remember how humiliated I felt, wishing I could just disappear. I regret not slapping her across the face back then. Who does she think she is? When others accused her, she lashed out. Now, taking on the role of the accuser, she ruthlessly sneers at someone in her former position. I was about to retaliate when Ava took a step forward, locking eyes with Mia. You're jealous of me, she said in an even, direct tone, her usually sweet face now firm and unyielding. Mia took a step back, trying to keep her composure. Why would I be jealous of you? She scoffed. Ava took another step forward. You're jealous I got into Beijing University, and you didn't. You're jealous Ku chose me, not you. You're jealous that I'm the one standing by Ku's side, not you. Ava's verbal blows were so relentless, I almost wanted to applaud. Mia was clearly outmatched. After all, she couldn't very well claim she preferred Teachers College over Beijing University. Could she? In the end, she could only mutter, I don't have time for this, and leave in a hurry. Only then did Ava retract her fierce stance and return obediently to my side. You're not mad? I asked. I know it's not true, Ava replied. Perfect. At least this time. I've chosen someone with a clear mind, not like the last one who turned on me at the first hint of gossip. I thought that after this incident, Mia's pride would keep her away from me for a long time. But I underestimated her shameless resilience. While I was reading in the library, she found me. Ethan, I'm giving you the opportunity to invest in my new energy company. All you have to do is invest $50 million and I'll give you 0.1% of the company's initial shares. She leaned on my desk looking down at me, her gaze a mix of contempt, detachment, coldness, and a dash of pity. She practically embodied the modern domineering CEO, but who tries to attract investors with such arrogance. I kicked the table leg and stood up. You're standing too close. Mia wobbled, barely regaining her balance. Good. Though her presence was still irritating, at least it wasn't suffocating. Around us, other students glared at us for disturbing their reading. I offered a sincere apology. Sorry, this person from another school was bothering me. I couldn't help it. Who are you calling a bother? Mia's voice rose. Instantly, the gossip-hungry students looked over. Mia deflated. Ethan, don't push it, she hissed through gritted teeth. I shrugged, unimpressed by her threats. Angry but still forced to tolerate me, she continued negotiating. Ethan, think it over. She continued negotiating. Ethan, think it over. When your family goes bankrupt, don't say I didn't give you a chance. Mia looked down at me like I was her puppet. Suddenly, I understood. In my past life, to support her business, I secretly diverted all available funds to invest in hers. As a result, my family nearly went bankrupt when our cash flow dried up. It was her core technology breakthrough that attracted new investors, helping KuCorp avert the crisis. No wonder she always acted so high and mighty around me. Turns out, she's been carrying herself as the savior of my family all along. But if it weren't for the money I gave her, KuCorp wouldn't have faced a cash flow crisis in the first place. Someone like her, even after reincarnation, only remembers the outcomes that favor her, never the process. Seeing her mindset clearly, I had no reason to be polite. So, you want an investment. Do you even have a company certificate? Do you have a team, a business plan, a projected return on investment? I fired a series of questions, none of which Mia could answer. I looked at her with disdain. You're asking me to invest when you have nothing. Why should I? For your looks. I meant it as an insult, but she seemed to interpret it differently, looking at me with a mixture of anger and shame. Ethan, don't think a bit of money lets you do as you please. I'll never bow to you. Fine, no investment. I'll wait for the day you regret it. Then she rushed out of the library, flustered, leaving a strange sense of satisfaction behind. But honestly, I just didn't want to spend money on her. Mia eventually got funding. Apparently, Alex found her an investor who gave her $5 million for a 51% share of her new company. She instantly became a campus sensation. She was enrolled in the best teacher training program at her school, but the coursework was irrelevant to her startup. She never attended class. When teachers criticized her for neglecting her studies, she retorted, asking how many years of their salary equaled her $5 million in investment. After that, no one bothered her. I knew about Mia's startup project. She's a smart person. In my past life, she entered the new energy vehicle industry, focusing on battery endurance. At that time, I admired her, thinking she was the smartest girl in the world. I used my family connections to get her into the best new energy science and engineering program at Beijing University. She studied diligently for 4 years, then founded her company with her graduate advisor. Now, however, she's just a freshman. Even with memories of her past life, she's been in management for years, far removed from the technical front lines. Can she really succeed in her solo venture with just her technical skills? I'll be watching closely. Mia assembled her startup team. She searched for everyone she had worked with in her previous life. Unfortunately, only a few people in similar circumstances were swayed by her persuasion and joined her. As for her previous mentor, I heard he rejected her without even meeting her. No surprise there, he's a top industry expert. Why would he waste time on some impoverished student from a teacher training college? It's different for me. Using my status as an alumnus, along with a $30 million initial investment, I happily established a partnership with Professor Lee. I even slipped Ava into his team. After all, she's studying in this field. Getting her into Professor Lee's team early would let her seamlessly continue on to a combined bachelor's, master's, and doctorate program. How perfect. Shortly after joining, Ava began sharing with me some amusing gossip about Mia from her teammates. For instance, Mia once commanded, "I want all our competitors' data within 3 minutes." Her senior colleague quickly opened a data site, typed in a flurry of commands, and reached a page where membership was required to continue. Then he turned the screen toward Mia. Mia's towering arrogance, normally sky-high, instantly shriveled when she saw the membership fee, a cool $300,000. In her past life with KuCorp covering her expenses, Mia could easily access such background information. But this time, she was getting a fresh taste of how costly updated data can be. So, naturally, she didn't buy the membership. An hour later, she tossed over a list of a few companies, telling them to check out their new products. But the search turned up very little information. One of the companies didn't even exist. When her senior colleague reported back, Mia spent 30 minutes berating him, saying, "These are industry leaders, there's no way there's so little data on them. Demanding without paying is a lot to ask." Unable to take it, her senior had a huge argument with Mia and quit right on the spot. Afterward, he vented to Ava and the others, saying that Mia was a princess without the life of one. Yet, with all the ailments, I personally think he summed her up perfectly. Mia has always been prideful. In my past life, her smooth rise was only because I used KuCorp's resources to prop her up. If she needed data, Ku's strategy department had premium subscriptions to every major professional database. If she needed proposals, the strategy department had premium subscriptions to every major professional database. If she needed proposals, she had a dozen managers, each specializing in their own field, pulling together information for her to present. If she wanted technological breakthroughs, there were dozens of experts in the lab, working overtime around the clock to achieve patent-worthy results, all under her name. It was these people who bestowed Mia with her aura bit by bit. They made her a technical genius, a rising business star. But she always believed it was her own light shining on everyone else. And back then, I was blind enough to believe she was some unpolished gem. Mia's startup team didn't last long. As soon as they made some progress, one team member took off with the core technology. Of course, Mia called it theft, but in reality, he was filing the patent himself. While Mia demanded the credit be under her name, the guy took the technology to a company run by a wealthy heir, earning 10 times his previous salary. Enraged, Mia stormed into his office and caused a scene. When the heir pushed her away, she retaliated with a vase and both ended up in the hospital. Hearing the news, I quickly informed Alex and rushed to the hospital. In my past life, that rich heir wasn't going to let Mia off easily. I had to pay a hefty price to save her back then. This time, I'll just watch Alex put on a show. In the hospital room, Mia lay alone on the bed, her leg in a cast, elevated high. Across from her, the wealthy heir sat in a wheelchair, his head wrapped in several layers of bandages, with a few big, burly guys standing behind him. Mia looked visibly frightened. It was terrifying, really. In my last life, when I single-handedly blocked them at her hospital room door, I was terrified myself, but this time, it was much better. This time, I was here to enjoy the show. When Mia saw me and Alex, her expression relaxed. When she looked at me, she even wore an arrogant smile, as if thinking, I know this man couldn't let me go. She even seemed annoyed that I arrived so late. It took everything in me not to walk over and slap that smugness right off her face. The wealthy heir noticed her gaze and asked, Are you her boyfriend? I immediately waved my hands and backed up. I'm just passing by. Mia shot me a furious glare. Then, seeing Alex, her gaze softened, as if imagining I was jealous. I took another step back, trying not to catch the stupidity. The heir turned his attention to Alex. Alex stepped forward. Mia looked at him with tender, glowing eyes. Don't misunderstand. We're just classmates, but I think there's some misunderstanding between you two. Clearing it up should settle everything. Alex walked forward, sweeping his bangs back in a ridiculous, affected manner. Misunderstanding. I have no misunderstanding. She cracked open my skull. I'm here to get compensation. The heir gave Alex a disdainful look. Alex glanced around nervously. The wealthy heir sneered. Oh, so you're going to pay for her? Alex hesitated, still playing the peacemaker. Not exactly. I was hoping you'd be a bit lenient. The heir stroked his chin. Fine, I was supposed to close a $1 billion deal today. She broke my head and ruined the negotiation, so she should cover the loss. But since it's you asking, I'll give her a 10% discount. Just $900 million. Generous, right? The heir's demand was absurdly high. Alex's face turned pale as the blood drained from it. I barely know this girl. Handle it directly with her. He didn't spare Mia a second glance and quickly exited the room. The light in Mia's eyes visibly dimmed. With no one to stand up for her, the heir continued to glare at her. If I'm not satisfied with the compensation, I'll send you to jail. It was the same in my past life. Even though both were injured, Mia had started it. If he refused to settle, she'd definitely face criminal charges. Mia knew it too. In my previous life, I'd secretly traded KuCorp's most profitable business division to the heir, not only to keep Mia safe, but also to recover the core technology that was taken. This time, she had no money or power yet still charged into his company. She probably thought I'd cover for her again. Sure enough, Mia looked at me. Ethan, if you help me with this, I'll be your girlfriend. She finished her sentence, then shut her eyes and turned her head away, as if enduring the ultimate humiliation. Ha! In my last life, I worried about her injuries and didn't want her to feel pressured, so I never told her what it cost me. This time, I want her to see exactly what she lost. I feigned hesitation, looking at the heir eagerly, adopting an overly dramatic tone. Tell me, what will it take for you to let her go? One of the heir's men recognized me, and the demand increased instead of decreasing. Well, the Ku family's heir himself. My apologies for not recognizing you sooner. We're practically family. Let's not talk about money. It's tacky. If you want me to let your little girlfriend off the hook. Simple. Just trade me KuCorp's retail channels. The heir looked at me, smiling. Mia opened her eyes, turning abruptly. In my last life, she'd once taken over KuCorp, so she knew what our retail channels represented. This. I pretended to hesitate. Mia's expression visibly softened. She was definitely remembering why KuCorp's retail channels had once been open for free use. All for her. As Mia gazed at me with gratitude, I gave a wicked smile. If she really were my little girlfriend, I'd pay up. All right, now, sure, but some people don't know their place and have let others sully them. I'm not into garbage collection. I rolled my eyes dramatically and walked out of the room, full of swagger. Ah, it was so satisfying. Mia didn't end up in jail. The heir didn't actually want money. What he wanted was Mia's project. She was forced to hand over her entire startup team to him. Even she signed a contract, making her an employee under him. Apparently, she wouldn't even be a regular employee until she graduated and only received a monthly stipend of $1,000. When Alex found out, he was furious. The $5 million investment he made for her had come from a wealthy older woman he'd been seeing. Now, he'd not only seen zero return on investment, but had also lost all his capital. The woman suspected he'd colluded with Mia to skim her and dumped him in a fit of rage. Alex, angry of course, confronted Mia. It said they went back and forth for a while before Mia gave in and signed a $5 million IOU at her current rate of $1,000 a month. She wouldn't pay it off in this lifetime. I laughed at Alex's stupidity, but soon my laughter faded. That shameless Mia then turned her attention back to me. Early one morning, as I was heading out to class, I found her waiting at the entrance. She was holding a small, transparent plastic bag with 2 large steamed buns from the cafeteria inside. Ethan, seeing me? She jogged over. Here, your favorite steamed buns. She offered me the buns with a forced smile, thinking it looked charming, but it was just painful to look at. It was so nauseating I almost vomited. Mia wasn't stupid and quickly noticed my disgust. She frowned. Don't like it? Didn't you used to? She trailed off. I smirked, watching her nervously try not to say too much. Used to? Oh, right. In my past life. It was right after she threw my tray at me in the cafeteria. I felt so humiliated that I stayed away for a week. Word got around that she'd had a rough time that week. Eventually, she couldn't take it anymore. The next day, she brought me breakfast. 2 cold steamed buns. Looking back, I even wonder if they were leftovers from her own meal. But back then, I was so blindly in love. All I could think was, Mia actually bought me breakfast. Mia herself brought me breakfast just for me. I downed the 2 buns dry, nearly choking on them, but still kept following Mia around. Thrilled. I don't even like buns. She doesn't like buns. I turned to find Ava standing behind me. She held a pink thermos in both hands with a bottle of fresh milk balanced on top. I told you, you don't have to make breakfast for me every day. I felt a bit embarrassed. Skipping breakfast is bad for your stomach. Ava handed me the milk. One day she'd found me dealing with a stomach ache. I casually mentioned that I'd probably skipped breakfast. Ever since then, she'd been making me breakfast, changing it up every day, rain or shine, without missing a single day. I took the milk. It was the perfect temperature and tasted great. Seeing herself ignored, Mia snorted and turned to leave. It was the perfect temperature and tasted great. Seeing herself ignored, Mia snorted and turned to leave. Passing the trash can, she threw the buns in with a loud thud. She didn't even look back. So rude, I muttered. Wasting food is a shame, Ava said, handing me the thermos and walking over to retrieve the buns. She removed the plastic and placed them where people often left food for the stray cats. At that moment, I thought she looked quite beautiful. Mia didn't give up. She always found ways to suddenly appear around me, like a pesky fly that wouldn't go away. When I went to class, she'd secure a seat in advance, waving at me from far away. I went straight to the teacher and complained that someone was distracting me from my studies. In the cafeteria, she'd be in the long line, calling for me to stand in front of her. I turned and went to the stir-fry section on the 3rd floor instead. When I went home on weekends, she'd wait downstairs asking to walk with me. I took a long stride and got into the luxury car that came to pick me up. She was a constant nuisance. Ava, upon hearing about it, began spending more time with me. Her coursework was already demanding, and she was part of the professor's research group, leaving her little time to rest. Yet, by my side, she was always calm and unhurried. At night, after she finished studying, I'd walk her back to her dorm, and we'd feed the stray cats together. The little cats were both wary and eager for food. Ava would break the fish into small pieces in her palm, and the kittens would follow the scent to her hand. I tried to mimic her. The soft, wet tongues of the kittens brushed my palm, sending a tingly sensation that nearly melted my heart. I feel a bit jealous of a cat, Ava suddenly murmured, her voice so soft it was barely audible. I turned to her and saw her eyes bright and shimmering. I realized just how close we were, shoulder to shoulder. Through the thin fabric of her sleeves, I almost felt her warmth. A gentle breeze brought a sweet scent. It wasn't floral, it was Ava. I leaned closer, a bit entranced. "What are you two doing?" A sharp voice shattered the moment. Mia stood behind us, her face twisted in anger. The startled cat scattered. Mia's gaze was locked on me. Her expression was one of barely restrained fury. Ava stood up, positioning herself at my side. I dropped the bit of fish I was holding, stood up, dusted off my hands, and moved Ava behind me. "And who are you to be questioning me?" I looked at Mia with a blank expression, meeting her eyes directly. I'm... Her voice was hoarse, as if something choked her. Her expression shifted from anger to confusion, then regret, and finally to a hint of pain. "You're mine," she said, staring at me as if I were the most handsome man in the world. Too bad I didn't believe it for a second. Even if it were true, it was revolting. I kept my composure and turned to Ava. "You'd better head up." Ava nodded. "I'll watch until you're back inside." "All right." I turned and walked away. Mia kept calling after me. I didn't stop, nor did I look back. Mia's like a muddy pit. Last time I stepped in, got myself filthy and ended up dragging my family down too. This time, all I need to do is avoid her. Mia stopped clinging to me, but Ava's visits didn't change. Breakfast together in the morning and our evening walks to feed the cats became routine. Until one day, Ava didn't show up from morning to night. An uneasy feeling settled in, and I asked one of her senior classmates. He hadn't seen her in the lab, and she hadn't been answering her messages. I used my family's connections to investigate, and it turned out she'd left the campus late at night and then disappeared. Digging deeper, I found that the last place she was seen was in a messy, dirty alley. That area is where Ava's family lives. I remembered her alcoholic father and the bruises she had when I first met her. I immediately brought a team and rushed over. Her tiny, run-down house had walls blackened with grime. A drunk man, reeking of alcohol, leaned against the wall holding a bottle. He shielded his eyes from the sunlight when we arrived and continued drinking. "Where's Ava?" He ignored me. One of my men shook him a few times until he slurred. "She was taken away. The little brat thought she could avoid me by staying away. But someone came right up and asked her to pay my debts." With his bottle in hand, he swayed. A suspicion flashed through my mind, but I couldn't quite grasp it. Finally, after a few slaps, he cowered and mentioned the name of the debt collector, Code Dragon. I took my team and rushed to Dragon's place. Dragon, seeing that I'd come with many men, agreed to let me in alone for negotiations. I didn't hesitate. Ava was locked in an empty room with a table and chair in the middle. She sat on the chair with a bruise visible on her face, 2 big men on either side of her, and a debt note in front of her. Despite the red mark on her cheek, she gritted her teeth, holding back tears in silence. "Quite a tough girl," Dragon said, waving his hand for his men to step back. When Ava saw me, tears began streaming down her face. "What are you doing here?" She tried to get up but was forced back down. "No need to rush, girl. I think your boyfriend here looks capable. Maybe he'll pay your father's debt, and you two can leave peacefully." "How nice." "Right." Dragon walked over, spreading the debt note in front of me. "Handsome, from the looks of you, a few $100,000 should be nothing." "Right. Pay it off for her, and I'll respectfully send you both out." I glanced at the number on the debt. Over $1 million. "I'll pay," I agreed without hesitation. Ava's eyes dimmed, and she suddenly began struggling violently. "I'll sign it myself. I'll sign. Don't make him pay." Her voice held a slight sob. It hurt to see, and all I wanted was to pay and get her out of there quickly. But Dragon's man whispered something in his ear. Dragon's expression changed. "So, you're the Koo family's young master. My apologies. Forget a few $100,000. I can't look down on you with that." Dragon snapped his fingers, and a fresh debt note was handed over. This time, the amount was $100 million, with a daily interest rate of 1%. Dragon pointed at the signature line. "Just sign here, young Master Koo, and we're all good." "That's greedy, even for him." I pursed my lips, staying silent. Dragon's men started surrounding us, my bodyguards tensed, ready. Just as things were escalating, the door burst open. It was the police. I'd made sure to call them before going in, and they didn't disappoint. Dragon's men clearly panicked. One of them grabbed a chair and hurled it toward me. I didn't have time to dodge, but the impact I expected never came. Ava had thrown herself in front of me. Dragon was arrested. Ava ended up in the hospital. During the investigation, it was discovered that Mia had called Ava out late at night. Unfortunately, she insisted she was only passing on a message from Ava's father. There wasn't enough evidence to charge her. Mia was released after giving a statement at the police station. But Ava and I both knew she wasn't innocent. While Ava was in the hospital, Mia shamelessly came to visit. Ava had injured her shoulder and was half lying in bed. I was feeding her spoonfuls of bird's nest soup. She'd been a bit embarrassed at first, but as soon as Mia entered, she took the spoonful from me slowly with a look that said she wanted more. I couldn't help but smile. Mia glared at us with a dark, twisted expression. Ethan, what does she have that's so special? A gambler's daughter, and you think she's worth this much? Or do you just enjoy the thrill of playing with poor kids from broken families? Mia was almost hysterical. Her words barely hid the fact that she remembered our past lives, but her accusations only amused me. Playing with her. Last time, I nearly sacrificed all of Coup Corp for her. She called that playing, but I couldn't be bothered to argue. Mia, you're not welcome here. Leave. I firmly asked her to leave, but instead of walking out, she came closer, squatting beside me, and tried to grab my hand. I pulled away. She looked frustrated but reined in her temper. Ethan, stop messing with me. Let's go back to the way things were. If you stay by my side, I'll treat you well from now on. Isn't that what you want? There was even a hint of pleading in her eyes. I smiled at her intentionally. Just as her eyes started to light up, Ava spoke up. I don't want to. Just like in my last life, when I desperately begged her to spare Coup Corp and my parents, she'd held onto Alex's arm, trampling my hand under her foot, and said, I don't want to. Ava recovered quickly. On the first day the doctor allowed her to be discharged, she returned to the lab. My parents were frightened by the incident with Dragon, and learning that Ava had saved me, they often asked me to bring her home. So I found myself going back and forth between school and home. Life was peaceful until one day I noticed my father looking worried. When I asked, I learned that our family business was facing trouble. Clients we'd worked with for years had suddenly been poached. Whenever we went out for bids, our competitors always knew our bottom price. Even our previously secure retail channels were being encroached upon. The one behind all this was none other than the wealthy heir who fought with Mia. They were picking away here and there. Not enough to seriously damage Coup Corp, but definitely causing a headache. My father, not wanting to bother with these minor issues, left them to me. I knew Mia was behind this, leveraging her memories from our past lives, but proving it was almost impossible. That left me with one option: to focus on the new energy project. After her team was taken over by the Wealthy Heirs group, Mia struggled. She hit so many walls that she eventually tried to reach out to Professor Lee, who was collaborating with me. She didn't know that Professor Lee often told me stories about her, finding her attempts amusing. When that failed, she targeted Ava's senior classmates. Ava mentioned that one of them seemed tempted but hadn't made a move yet. And I had originally planned to have Professor Lee transfer that senior out of the project, but now I instructed Ava to keep an eye on him without alerting anyone. Progress on the new energy project was swift. Professor Lee led the team in applying for the patent as a collaborative research effort. As soon as the patent was granted, Mia sued both Professor Lee and Coup Corp. Her claim was that we'd stolen their technology. Her witness, the senior student she'd bought off. Not only that, but she took the matter online, hoping to tarnish Coup Corp's reputation with public opinion. Ethan, come back to me, and I'll withdraw the lawsuit, she declared confidently before the trial. It was laughable. In my last life, I gave her everything, and she discarded me like trash. Now I kept crushing her, and she chased after me. You're dreaming. I laughed coldly and walked past her. In court, Mia was smug. She presented various data comparisons, claiming we developed the technology first. Our side presented only two pieces of evidence. The first was video footage. It showed her seniors secretly copying lab data and handing it to Mia. The second was the real data comparison. The data her senior had stolen wasn't genuine. Meanwhile, Mia, with two completely different sets of data, was accusing us of theft. The verdict was obvious. Our lawyer immediately filed a countersuit. Mia had orchestrated data theft, an act of unfair competition. Her baseless accusation of plagiarism was slander, and spreading false information online damaged our reputation. Multiple charges were filed, and the case was accepted on the spot. While the judgment wasn't immediate, Mia couldn't escape this time. Before the verdict, Mia requested a final meeting. I went. Ava joined me, staying nearby, watching Ava walk away. Mia sneered. Didn't expect you to fall for a poor girl. I knew she'd realized I'd also been reborn. Betraying someone who loves you and repaying kindness with resentment is a matter of character, not poverty. I didn't bother hiding it anymore. So you did come back too, she said, eyes blazing. We're the same. We belong together. I couldn't fathom how she thought I'd ever go back to her. Mia. It was rare for me to say her name. Her eyes lit up with hope as she looked at me. I smirked. Do you remember that $5 million debt you owe? Her face stiffened. I couldn't even pretend to be polite with her anymore. Mia, seeing you like this makes me very happy. In my last life, I loved you, which made you feel superior to me. My love became the ladder you used to reach heights that were never yours to begin with. But instead of gratitude, you despised that ladder, calling it dirty. If you hated it so much, you should have just told me. Yet you enjoyed all I gave while wanting nothing more than to grind me into the dirt. This time I have nothing to apologize for. I only took back what I'd given you. And look, I laughed softly. This is where you were always meant to be. Mia's face turned ashen, and she sank, defeated. She could no longer maintain the pride I'd once fueled with endless affection and resources. Ignoring her pitiful state, I walked over to Ava. Her eyes were only for me, not even glancing at Mia. I'm just a poor girl, she murmured, her eyelashes lowered, looking a bit downcast. I was about to comfort her, but she looked up, smiling brightly at me. But I won't be forever. She waved her phone at me, displaying a text. Your new patent application has been approved. I'll create more patents, building my own ladder to reach you, step by step. Ava looked at me, beaming. I pulled her close and kissed her passionately.